Starting a business can be hard. Finances, company structure, a website, and social media. And then, of course, you've got customers, or for home stages, your first client. In episode 149 of Foxy TV, it is our mission to help you get your first client, your first piece of work, even if, like the person asking the question this week, you feel like you'll look like an amateur. So we'll be covering that topic very soon, but first, a quick install.
Yeah, so it's 4 bedroom, 3 living and a study and 2 dining.
Now when you picked this, you sort of thought you had some colourful walls, but it turns out they're not so colourful anymore.
Yeah, so originally we had a bright red master, a lime green double and a purple double. And then in that living out there, it was all brown, and then there was an orange wall on entrance.
Yeah, right. So this is a bit easy to work with then.
Yeah, it is now. I mean, originally I made all my selections based off all the colours that I had to work with, but now I get to just kind of keep it how I would like.
On to our main topic this week. We received this question on Facebook. I'm just starting my staging business and I'm struggling on what I should say in my pitch to realtors. Can you give me any tips? I haven't had any business yet and have a fear that I'll look like a newbie and the realtors won't want to work with me. We've got some advice from both Phoebe and Jake to get through. Let's get to it.
My thoughts on it honestly have changed over the past 5 years. You would have heard we've done this topic before, and you would have heard then my thoughts were a little bit of fake it till you make it, and a little bit of just go and do it. So there's a little bit of that there still, because you've got to be really careful. You can't let imposter syndrome sneak in. You have to have the confidence. You have to believe in yourself. But now, honestly, now that the industry's grown, now that there are so many more styling companies out there, lots of styling companies approaching real estate agents, you're not going to be the only one. So my thoughts on it are going to also real estate conferences, hearing certain keynote speakers discuss this. Also, you're listening to a lot of real estate agents and how they combat going and putting an appraisal forward, because they're always against each other. So 3 or 4 real estate agents were always going for the same job. And some of them have more of a, well, let's tear everybody down approach, whereas others have, well, how am I going to make myself different approach? And so this has really, shaped the way that I'm now thinking about how you would start off with, go and get your first job. Honestly, embrace being new. The difference that you will bring being new, the enthusiasm, the new fresh perspective, the willingness to do what you can for that real estate agent, to do what you can for that agent's brand, to do what you can do for those agents' vendors and get them across the line, will be more so than a styling company that has sort of rested on their laurels. So the ones that just sit back and sort of just let time and let everything that they've done in the last couple of years sort of put them forward, and they don't really put too much more effort in. So I honestly think embrace it and run with it. Go and say, look, I am new. I'm new to the industry. I have had the experience. Look, I have done my groundwork. I'm ready to go. I'm really excited. I'd really love for you to give me the chance. I'd love the opportunity to work together. These are my points of difference. This is where I will not let you down. My communication is next level. And honestly, so the real estate agents that I was talking about who are a little bit different to the others that have a tear them down approach, they basically, I've heard Gary Vee talk about this at the RX conference in Brisbane. He referenced the Eminem movie, 9 Mile, where basically they go in. He now goes in and takes away all of the ammunition that another real estate agent could possibly use against him. So he is now a bigger agent. He now has a huge volume of work. He also has a lot of agents working below him. So he knows that one of the first things that another competitor is going to say is that this agent has a volume of work. You will never see this real estate agent. They will sign you up and you'll never see them again. So you've lost that personal feel. So the first thing he will address is, look, we are busy. We do get a lot of throughput, but that means that my database is bigger. I have more people to bring your way and I have more buyers that will see your home. Let's get a better price than the ones that don't have as many people seeing your home. So he it basically addresses it before it's even an issue. Do the same thing. I'm brand new, but this is where I'm different. This is why I'm enthusiastic and eager, and this is how I'm not going to let you down. This is why I would love to get in front of your vendors and let's work together as a team.
So a couple of things to think about, I guess, when you're looking to get that first piece of work. So not necessarily like a step-by-step approach, but just a few things that kind of come to mind. And for me, I guess the couple of things that we did in the early days that you kind of just have to do, it's a lot of the groundwork. And you would have heard this from other people as well. But for us, it was no different. There was cold calls, there was emails, there was trying to get in front of agents for a coffee or a meeting. And honestly, we did a lot of that. And when I say we, it was mostly Phoebe and some of the other stylists in the early days. But right from the get-go, that was a big part of us getting to know people or getting them to know us. So that's a big one, and I don't think there's any way to avoid that. And that kind of goes hand in hand with what Phoebe was saying, where when we did that in the early days, it wasn't a sales pitch. It wasn't, hey, this is what we can offer you. It was just want to say hello, let you know that we're here if you ever need anything, but just wanted you to, wanted to say hello so you knew who we were. One other thing, I guess, that comes to mind, and this is probably a bit of a controversial, or at least there'll be people who hear this and very strongly disagree. I know it's something that in our industry, I've seen people who disagree with this already, but one thing that, referencing Gary Vee again, one thing that he says is that, when people say charge what you're worth, he says, well, the market decides what you're worth. If no one's paying you for your services, then you're not worth that. So that can be a little bit, there's nuances to that. But when you're starting out, if you can't get your foot in the door, sometimes it might actually take something like, hey, let us, I'm brand new to the industry. I'm going to knock it out of the park with these things, but I really need that chance. Let me do one for you for free. That's an option. I know that's not an option for everybody and depends on your situation, but I would just throw that out there as an idea, because sometimes that's what it might take, is to get your foot in the door, get your marketing, get your photography, get your marketing collateral, like all that stuff that you can then use, and then word of mouth kind of goes further forward as well, and more referrals from that agent. So just something to keep in mind. And then one final bit on that would be, if you are considering going down that path, I would, from a psychological point of view, I'd strongly recommend not discounting or offering a low fee or lower fee for your first one. Go for free. And that's only because when you go for a price that's lower, it sets a benchmark for an agent, and potentially that is then a hard thing to increase later, whereas free is free, and they know that that's a one-time thing.
And that is it for episode 149 of Foxy TV. Thanks so much for the question. I hope that really helped. And for anybody else out there, I hope the advice helped and was relevant. If you've got any questions or topics you'd like discussed on a future episode, please leave them in the comment section, or of course you can send us a message. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next week.